All right. My name is Olga Alexander. I'm from New York, Manhattan, actually, and I'm a multimedia artist. I do installations, paintings, mixed media, and now also jewelry design.
Hmm.
And it's more conceptual. Everything kind of feeds into each other. I work out of my home, of course, now, but even before, because like rents are so crazy and studio is very expensive. I can't have two rents. So I have little zones in my apartment. So it's the jewelry zone, the painting
Ah,
zone, and the little desk for my administrative zones.
nice.
And yeah, I try to support myself through various gigs. I volunteer at MoMA. I also had, no longer have it, a part-time job that's not really related to art, unfortunately. So that's the lay of the land now.
Nice, nice. So you are like you do lots of things and different kind of artworks,
Yeah.
and there's one that's your favorite, or you want to focus more?
Well, right now, I was focusing since March, since I was quarantined here,
Mm-hmm.
on a series that's right behind me.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Uh, and it started with I do hand stencils with the Barbie doll,
Ah.
and they're in very conflicting states.
Mm-hmm.
And it got I got very involved with it in terms of the emotional aspect of the quarantine and the anger and female identity. So I kind of combined everything. This is
Mm-hmm.
the largest series that I have right now. I have the two very large pieces behind me. Then I have about 30 small pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I think I finished about 28 now that will be part of this series. And I had to put it aside because it was getting just a little too dark. So
Uh-huh.
I needed to move on to something that's a little bit more abstract and more colorful and just did not require my intellect so much or my energy basically. So I sometimes I do that a lot. I bounce around and then I
Uh-huh.
find a happy medium.
Ah, okay, nice.
Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah.
you mixed a bit like everything and you found your correct balance.
Right. And then I come back. Yeah. And I like doing that. I like because I have so many interests.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the jewelry comes out of a lot of the forms that I use in my artwork or
Ah,
different iterations.
ah,
So I try to expand on that, do my own little research of what works. And I'm captivated by light and by form. And oddly enough, the jewelry has allowed me to almost have my own little gallery in a fluorescent kind of box.
yes.
And I love that because with installations, I can't do installations anymore. I mean, they're too big. I don't have the space and I'm not getting grants for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I create my own outlet, and that's my
Ah,
own outlet. So I enjoy that a great deal, but the paintings are more conceptual. I would say more personal, but I have to balance it. I have to have distance and then get personal, and I go back and forth, back and forth.
ah, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so you said that you are keeping working during your
Yeah.
isolation and during a quarantine. And on what are you focused more?
You mean in my work?
No, no, I
Uh,
mean in this period.
in this period, I'm really trying to do as much work. I've been very productive,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm very, very happy about, because I know a lot of people are not. For me, it's a matter of survival, and that's how I deal with it. What's occupying my mind is what will be the paradigm for me personally after this. So I'm trying to find options and trying to come up with scenarios that I'd be happy with in terms of long term, because I feel for somebody like myself, I have an MFA, I taught, I used to run a nonprofit gallery some long time ago. So I've done a lot of different things. And now I've had time to reflect what it all means for me as an artist, and the scenario of applying to things and paying for things is out. I'm not buying into that. I don't want to sustain somebody else's business. I'd rather, and I have done this now, I'd rather just submit work to small publications that are very enthusiastic about their work and have it shown there. Along with writers and others, and I'm very comfortable with that. But I also need money. Everybody does. That's the problem. So I don't know what the future is going to be like for me, but I know it can't. And I don't want it to be like it was. I mean, I'm very, very focused on that, and I think. What would have been the point of all of this if I just go back to the old paradigm? I mean, I want to come out with something new in terms of my work, but also in terms of my life.
Of course. So this situation, this event affected your artwork in general.
Yeah, very,
both
very
mentally
much.
And technically.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, go ahead.
And how do you think it will be your artworks, your art, and your mind when everything will be over? Do you think it will remain like this, or it could change?
You're talking for me personally, or just in general?
Yes, for you personally.
For me personally, I think I will be. I hope to be very assertive and about my work. I own it. I do it. I know it. And I am going to be more vocal about it, rather than just doing what we're all taught to do in the past. So I'm going to make a point of that. But all throughout my life, I just the artwork represents so much of what I am and what I think, and it's a personal thing, and I want to share it, but I'll be pickier where and how I do that. I just feel it's up to me to take control over that, and I think that's very important.
And how did you and are you facing, I mean, you as an artist, this situation? I explain better. I mean, if you are more stressed, or if you are a bit calmer, and if you are facing this situation a bit nicer, in a nice way, or whatever.
Well, I have my good days and bad days. I go from being very observant and calm, and then being very angry. I mean, there's so much going on here that it makes it very difficult. But I shut it down. I don't look at the news. I only do that once a day. But I because of my past, in a difficult childhood, I learned survival skills, and they kicked in very well now. But you know, it gets old. Everything gets old. I get, you know, it's tiresome to have to deal with all this stress all the time.
Uh-huh.
So I just go with it, and try to learn as much as I can. So much has been revealed because of this crisis, in terms of the art field, the business, the political situation, in every area. So much has been revealed, and I want to make myself present and aware of that, rather than before you would say, okay, that's them, that's what it is. Now it's more personal. I want to be very focused on it.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But and um, do you think that sometimes your space where you are working, do you feel your space as a bit like tight sometimes?
Oh yeah. Oh, it is. I mean, I have a very small apartment, and my rent just went up. And it's a very old building that the owners have done nothing to the building. So I don't know why the rent is going up. And I got the renewal lease in the middle of the pandemic, when it was at its height. So it really, really pissed me off. And I wrote to him and all of that. It gets very, very tight. And I knew I'm only going to be in this apartment for a year. I'd like to be there more, but I don't have the money. It's not sustainable in the city. But I've lived in other parts of the country, and you pay a price for not being in a cultural center, or not having access. And I can't go back to that. And I am a New Yorker, but I have to find another. It's going to be driven by finances. I'm going to have to find another place where it's affordable and has maybe an easy access. But yeah, it's getting very tight because I'm running so many things, and I have so many interests, and it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller every day. Yeah, it's claustrophobic at times, and it's difficult when I can't go out. I sparingly go out. I'm within walking distance of Central Park. That was my outlet. So that's been cut down, and hopefully not for much longer. But yeah, the finances are going to be driving everything. But I'm hoping, and this is very difficult, which is why I welcomed you to do this with you. It's always difficult. People don't believe this. Even in New York, with everything around, it's difficult to find a network, a group of people with similar interests, and you can have a community. It's just very difficult. So
yeah, with the same interests and everything.
Yeah, same interests that you can, call up and say, okay, let's go have a coffee and talk about this, or show each other's work. Very difficult. It's not easy to do it with strangers through Facebook. There's a lot of Zoom groups, and everybody's doing that, which is great. But at the end of it, you want somebody that has some feedback for you, that says, no, that doesn't really look right. Do something else.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And last question, how do you think it will be in general the art system after this event?
Well, already the major players have gone online. They're making a lot of money. I mean, today I read an article about Christie's. I mean, it's amazing. They're making more money than ever online. And the smaller galleries, they have closed. A lot of them have closed, but they had closed even before the pandemic. So I suspect there'll be more closings.
Mhm.
There'll be a lot of shifting, I think. But I think that's a good thing for artists if they can band together and take control.
Yeah.
Because it's not sustainable that an artist pays up front to show their work and the gallery gets 50% commission even on top of that. I mean, how can that be anymore? You know, nobody has any money. I mean, artists don't have that kind of money anymore. The majority of us, yeah, even to submit work, it's gone up $35 per submission, $40. You know, for what reason? So I think if artists come together and have their own shows and have whatever it takes, their own podcasts, their own businesses with revolving around clusters, so much the better. Because the old way was only serve the few, and there's so many of us, you know, that
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm hoping that artists will come together more.
Let's hope for the best, though.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.